Ukrainian sources have identified elements of the 11th Army Corps, 44th AC, and 6th Combined Arms Army as the main forces in the northern grouping of forces. These formations have participated in offensive operations and suffered significant casualties. President Zelensky stated that Russian forces have faced an 8-to-1 casualty ratio in northern Kharkiv Oblast over the past 2 weeks. However, these losses have not forced Russia to commit significant reserves from these identified units. The Ukrainian military continues to monitor the situation, with heavy fighting reported in the area. This ongoing conflict underscores the intense nature of the engagements in Kharkiv. Russian forces are currently operating with limited units from various formations in eastern Ukraine. Elements of the 47th Tank Division and the 2nd Motorized Rifle Division are heavily committed to operations along the Kupyansk-Svatove line. Additionally, elements of the 98th Airborne Division's 17th VDV Regiment are engaged in border areas in Kursk Oblast. This diverse array of units indicates a fragmented Russian force structure, potentially affecting their operational effectiveness. Reports suggest these units are involved in intensified assaults on Chasiv Yar's eastern outskirts, showcasing Russia's persistent offensive efforts despite the complex battlefield dynamics. The Russian military is potentially waiting to intensify offensive operations, requiring a grouping of 50,000 to 70,000 personnel. Following their seizure of Volchansk, Russian forces likely plan a second phase of their offensive in northern Kharkiv Oblast. Despite these plans, positional fighting and potential Ukrainian counterattacks could force further Russian offensives. Russian forces currently aim to establish a buffer zone in northern Kharkiv Oblast, advancing to within artillery range of Kharkiv city. However, it remains unclear if this goal is part of a larger operational objective. The complexity of the situation continues to challenge both sides. Russian forces continue leveraging their sanctuary in Russian airspace to strike Kharkiv city, likely to depopulate and demoralize the city. On May 25th, Russian missile and glide bomb strikes targeted Kharkiv, including an educational facility and a hypermarket. Ukrainian President Zelensky stated that up to 200 people might have been in the hypermarket at the time, with at least 5 confirmed dead and many injured or missing. These precision-guided bombings against civilian areas aim to scare residents into fleeing. Russian forces heavily target Kharkiv city, highlighting their strategy of using fear and destruction to achieve their objectives. Russian electronic warfare capabilities have significantly impacted the effectiveness of Western weapon systems in Ukraine. The success rate of N982 Excalibur guided artillery shells dropped from 55% to 7% between January and August 2023. Ukrainian forces also face challenges with joint direct attack munition, extended range guided munitions. However, recent successful Ukrainian ATACMS missile strikes on Russian targets, including in Crimea, indicate an ability to adapt. Both sides are engaged in a technical offense-defense race, continuously adjusting strategies. The ongoing technological contest significantly influences the dynamics and outcomes of the conflict. Russian ambassador to the US Anatoly Antonov categorically rejected Ukrainian President Zelensky's legitimacy and outlined Russia's maximalist conditions for peace negotiations. Antonov denied that Russia is unwilling to negotiate and criticized Western interpretations of Russian intentions. He asserted that any peace agreement must account for the battlefield situation and be signed by a legitimate Ukrainian leader, implying that Zelensky lacks legitimacy. This stance highlights Russia's rigid position on territorial claims and sovereignty issues, complicating prospects for meaningful negotiations. The Kremlin continues to assert its objectives while dismissing Ukrainian political authority, further entrenching the geopolitical standoff. Russia is reportedly helping North Korea develop its defense industrial base in exchange for North Korean munition supplies. US officials assess that Russia might also supply North Korea with military equipment and technology. This assistance could enable North Korea to conduct more provocative military actions, potentially impacting global security dynamics. The relationship underscores the strategic partnerships forming amid the Ukraine conflict. North Korea's provision of over 1 million artillery shells to Russia in 2023 illustrates the depth of this cooperation. Western officials express concern over the implications, as these developments could further destabilize the region.